This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Brazil Gabby, our good friends at Arnold Clark. £750 off to any used electric car or home charger. Have a look. Right, so what about some of the big guests coming up today? Didi Hamann, former Newcastle City and Liverpool. Chrissy Houghton, former Tottenham defender. Chrissy would have been disappointed last night. And Forest manager, of course. Piers Morgan coming up around 9:15. He'll be gloating at the moment with his beloved Arsenal. That is for sure. I bet he enjoyed that Tottenham performance last night as well.
I doubt he would have been watching Spurs. But,
I don't know.
Yeah, but he'll be definitely enjoying how Arsenal are now. Al. They're looking real favourites, aren't they? And going above Barcelona. I think before yesterday, Barcelona was second favourites. Now Arsenal are.
Are they really?
Yes, after PSG.
That's a long way to go, Gab. You know, we're not in November yet. But, you know, you're looking for a good start and Arsenal got a flyer.
I think what makes Arsenal so much favourites for me, Al, is because last season, someone like Odegaard getting injured, it would have been a crisis. Now, no one talks about it. Saka's been out. No one spoke about it. Madueke's out. No one's talking about it. Even if Saliba or Gabriel got injured, no problem. We've got Mascara. So they've got so many options now.
Just in Europe, a couple of dark horses there. Bayern again. Harry, I think, scored again.
Yes.
And Inter up there. Inter Milan third.
Inter done well last season, didn't they? To get to the final, was it? Inter Milan? Yeah, it was the final, wasn't it? They lost by 4-5 against PSG. But Arsenal up there, Real Madrid up there, 3 out of 3. Dortmund doing okay as well. Newcastle. And even Spurs, Al, they'll take being 15th after that performance last night. It was a great point.
I think Thomas will be thinking, I've got to do something here. I'm just looking ahead to the games coming up at the weekend. Liverpool, we know, have got a toughie at Brentford.
Yes.
Arsenal, London derby with Palace, not easy.
No.
Spurs go to Everton. I wonder what Moisey thought last night.
Tough game. I fancy Everton in that. But you know what? I was watching Thomas Frank out in the last 2 minutes of the game, probably last minute. And I think Jed Spence had the ball, give it away, and then was just trotting over to take a throw in. You could see the frustration in the manager's face. They're like, come on, I still want to try and win this.
Oh, and I was watching last night. Where's the urgency? Come on,
not
mind
zero.
settling for a point away from home. Go and win the game.
Yeah, 100%.
But in the end, it was a fortunate point,
Yes.
in my opinion. Right, Tottenham remain unbeaten in the Champions League, but it was far from pretty last night. Surrendered 21 shots in the 0-0 draw in Monaco. Right, the number 03717223344. After the game, Thomas Frank was asked whether Spurs are missing the star quality of players like Harry and Song this season.
I think that's fair to say. We have Wilson Odobert that I think is a very, very good talent, and I think he's been positive. But of course, he is taking his step into Premier League and Champions League. With other players also, with Xavi just come to the club. Lucas, a young player, could have been exceptional for us, but also played more or less every minute. So, like maybe that little extra spark today. Kolo Muani that we believe can make a difference. I think he looked positive when he came on, but you know, I had that injury and then Dom. So, of course, there's some of that. No complaints. It is what it is. It's my job to get the most out of the players available.
Thomas Frank there. John is now for more. Is the host of Last Word on Spurs podcast, Ricky Sachs. Ricky, I don't know about you, Ricky, but I was hugely disappointed.
Good morning, Ricky.
Night.
Good morning, guys. Happy to see you both. Yeah, echoing the words there of what you said there, Al. Very disappointing performance. Look, in all due circumstances, when you go in away the Champions and get a point, it's not normally seen as a negative result, but the performance really was a worry, and I think the selection for me set the tone as to what Frank went there to do, when to get a point, got a point, but never really felt like on the night we wanted anything more than that. And I think, what is that, 125 games? You go back for our last 0-0, and that was, of course, the infamous 0-0, of course, in the second leg against AC Milan under Conte. It felt a little bit like Conte ball at times, to be honest with you. So I think we need to see a little bit more from the attacking perspective from Tottenham, because you and me know, Al, the natives at the lane or Tottenham Stadium, that will be a concern a little bit on the eye at this stage. You know, I'm a big Thomas Frank fan. I think we know about the fact that he's been seen as an adaptable, a flexible coach, but really didn't see too much of that in that 90 minutes.
Let's be honest, it could have been 4 or 5. Goalkeeper was fantastic.
Yeah, look, Vicario, I've been one of Vicario's biggest critics this season. but I thought he was superb for Tottenham and kept us in it. It could have been, like you said there, 4 or 5 before half-time, and Vicario was superb for Tottenham.
Ricky, listen, players can have off days, players can miss chances, players can dribble the ball out of play, get tackled, but players should never lack intensity, and especially in a Champions League game. This is where Spurs want to be every season, their fans want to be, the club want to be. Watching it, I'm looking at the players and I'm like, it's like they were waiting for Monaco to score. Last 20 minutes, Minamino come on, chance after chance after chance. I'm just like, what are these Spurs players doing?
Obviously, Gab, the worrying thing for me is when you're hearing from players that's at the start of like a new tenure, 14, 15 games in, the nature of the wording around effort, desire. That was my concern at such an early stage of the season, to hear that. Just a little bit concerning. The wording of what we heard after the game. Now, this has been my little bit of a concern the last few games. It actually isn't what I've been seeing during the games. It's actually been post-match. Just the reaction from certain players, likes of Archie Gray, Vicario, quite a scathing assessment last night after the game. That'll be my worry a little bit. I mean, how much these players enjoying the way in which they're being set up in this very early period. And I hope, like I say, it's just an adjustment or a tweak that's needed. But I just have a concern of the players' body language after the game.
Ricky, just looking ahead, Everton against Tottenham won't be easy. Davy Moyes will be rubbing his hands together saying, look, it's a good time to play Spurs, especially at our new stadium.
Yeah, look, I agree. They're unbeaten there, aren't they? They're Hill Dickinson, so it's not going to be an easy game. Grealish, I'm sure, fancies chances on the attack against Spurs. And I think it's going to be interesting. Again, Frank's lineups for me will really dictate how I think Tottenham fans will feel approaching the games. And I know, again, there's been that call out to say, can't keep playing Polina and Bentancur together every week. I think for me, that's more at home, you can't put them together. I would imagine away from home, I wouldn't be surprised again to see Polina and Bentancur deployed. It's just the case at the moment. I'm not quite sure what Papa Sarr's done wrong.
Yes, I was going to say that.
Not being in the starting lineup at the moment. I can't quite work that out, because he was probably, I would say, one of the stars of the earlier part of the season with Frank, where he was looking like a real player. So I'm unsure what Sarr has done at the moment to see himself on the bench and not on the 11 at the moment.
But surely, Ricky, you put Sarr in there as maybe you play a 3, Bentancur, Sarr, and then Paulinho, and you put maybe Simmons off the left, Kudus off the right, and Mrouani down the middle, because he done more in 20 minutes than Richarlison done in 70. I thought Richarlison was pathetic, if I'm being honest, and the cheek of him to be fuming when he got took off. Honestly, I was fuming watching him.
Yeah, he was really poor, Gab.
Oh.
Really poor. I mean, look, we all quite know, and this is also something I need to make clear, I'm not saying what we've got is the finished article under Frank with regards to the players, because I think you look at that front 3, front 4, and you can see they're nowhere near good enough. But those are the tools he's got to work with, and he's got to get more out of that team, because at the end of the day, we can't change the attacking lineup until at least January. So it is a case of trying to work with what we've got. And I think, again, my concern would be the amount of shots that we're having against us.
Yes.
Is a concern. I know you referred to Villa at the weekend, but we lost to Aston Villa. So, as you all know, so that is the concern at the moment. How can Frank find a way of navigating this, at least until January, when we might have some options in the window from an attacking perspective? Because at the moment, there is, I would say, a slight concern.
Well, Ricky, me and Al were saying it yesterday, and Al made a great point. Players don't try and stop shots anymore. I mean, like Buendia scored from outside the box, so does Morgan Rogers. Last night, so many shots from outside the box, but not just Spurs. In general, I don't think people fancy other players scoring from distance.
No. And again, like I say, at the moment, he's such early days under Frank. I have to be acutely aware about this, that we've played, 14 games under him. We've only lost 2. So in no way am I sitting there saying that Frank is under massive pressure.
Not at all, no.
But I would say that, from someone that does go to the home games on a frequent basis, a lot of home fans out there, they would be concerned by the lack of patterns of play and lack of creativity in the final third. Frank might come back and say, from his perspective, and he probably can't say this right now, this is what I've got to work with, but you just feel there's a lot more we can do. And again, I go back to Vicario's interview after the game, Archie Gray, you're seeing players there that I think know there's a lot more capability in the side, and therefore I think we really need to see an upturn in performances in the next few weeks. And that starts, of course, at Everton. It leads through to Newcastle in the Carabao Cup. You then got Chelsea and Man United on the horizon. I feel like it's quite a big next 2 or 3 weeks coming for Tottenham.
Yeah. Ricky, thank you. Ricky,
Ricky.
Host of the last Word On Spurs podcast. Glenn Hoddle told us just he thought a point was the outcome, but in the end, I think Tottenham were fortunate to get a point. Yes. Right, still to come.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Download the new improved app to easily manage your accounts and quotes.
Yep, 6:45. I'm going to be joined live. This should be one of the most opinionated men in the media. Here we go, Piers. Take it away.
Ten Hag is a complete idiot. I'm sorry, he is. Not only is Ronaldo the GOAT, but Messi is only the second biggest GOAT from Argentina. Arsenal, I suspect, will now go on an absolute tear. We are going to win the league. I wouldn't be surprised if we win it by mid-March.
Make sure you're listening or watching on CTV and YouTube after 9. Legendary broadcaster, deluded Arsenal fan, is he? Oh dear. Piers Morgan will be with us right here in the studio. England cricket legend Darren Gough will also be with us next as we build up to live international cricket over on talkSPORT 2. Happy birthday, Harmy, as well. That was a look ahead with Travis Perkins.
talkSPORT.